everybody, my name is Luna and I'm here to catch you up on everything that happened in episode 105 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role, Collecting Legends. We pick up with Imogen inside a dream, or a daydream, with her mother, Liliana. Liliana tells Imogen she's been slowing things down as much as she can on Ruidus, but Ludinus has been growing impatient and has started keeping Liliana close, hindering her attempts at sabotage. She fills Imogen in on some of Ludinus's plans, including sending a simulacrum to meet with the Sorrow Lord Zathuda, aka Fern's dad, and the Unseelie at the Shrine of Gilded Gifts within the Amethyst Gulch Sierras. Fern later fills the group in that the Amethyst Gulch Sierras used to house a Seelie community called the Pravenir, but it was abandoned after a mass poisoning event. The reason Ludinus is meeting with the Sorrow Lord is because he has been unhappy about the Unseelie Court's contribution to the Vanguard's plans, calling them too absent. Liliana also reveals that the Weavemind traveled to Exandria and were the ones responsible for the terraforming around the Malleus Key. Lastly, she says Ludinus has asked that she channel the memory of Aor that he showed to Bell's Hells through one of the leyline nexus points so that it will be broadcast to all of Exandria. Liliana asks Imogen if she should go through with this plan or if she should push back.
Do I make a stand, or do I go through with it and hope for the best if push comes to shove? It'll reach a breaking point where either I have to or not.
If you can keep from doing it and get away, but Mom, if there's somebody else that can do it, if he's just gonna hurt you and turn to somebody else, then keep yourself safe for the bigger fight. All right?
Okay.
As Liliana leaves, Imogen finds herself in the Trial Forge once more, where she fills everyone in on what happened. The group discuss if there would be a benefit to intercepting the meeting between Ludinus and the Sorrow Lord or attempting to disrupt the broadcast. They also wonder if they could ally with the Unseelie Court, since they might not be pleased to learn that Ludinus has been draining powerful Fae to prolong his life. The group enter the forum ready to present their plan, and Imogen casts telepathic bonds so that they will all be able to communicate during the proceedings. Chetney also casts See Invisibility, revealing 6 huge constructs looking over the chamber, as well as an ancient silver dragon invisibly attached to the ceiling. Whilst they are finding their places, Braius apologizes to Fern.
I just wanted to tell you, I had no idea you were spoken for. I wouldn't have been flirty with you if I had known that you were already with someone.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Well, no,
I don't want to dishonor
no.
you like
No.
that.
That wouldn't do that doesn't dishonor me.
But you're clearly coupled up.
No.
In a long-term relationship, and I don't want to sully that.
As you hold your tongue.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop playing with that. Listen.
I noticed that you were canoodling, so I just...
Yes, but I can canoodle who I want to canoodle with.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't made any decisions yet.
Fern goes on to say that she's pretty sure that Ashton knows that she's a free bird, and she might want to put her eggs in all the baskets. Fern then turns the questions back onto Braius, asking if he is single, and he says that he is. Fern then encourages Braius to, check out the vibe with Ashton, implying that the three of them could get something going on. I, for one, am here for this polyam ship. Orym, with his very high perception, notices someone who looks a lot like an older version of Dorian, but before he can point him out, the man disappears into the crowd. The forum officially begins with High Bearer Vord calling out to the ancient silver dragon on the ceiling called Athudashionis, who reveals themselves and casts a mass zone of truth that encompasses the entire room. It is a very high save, but Braius, Dorian, and Laudna all make it. Braius recognizes Athudashionis as a generational guardian of the Platinum Sanctuary. Vexalia begins outlining the plan of who is going to take on the fortress around the Malleus Key.
The intent is, and she smiles, whether by cunning or force, she glances over to Keyleth, to deliver the legends known as Vox Machina to the Malleus Key.
And then Allura reveals that it is the Mighty Nine who will take on the Weavemind. Now, since a lot of the Mighty Nine's exploits happened on another plane of existence, most people don't know that they saved the world, so a few voices call out asking, who's the Mighty Nine? But the Bright Queen steps forward to lend them her support.
I know and have met, worked, and put my trust within this Mighty Nine myself. I can lend my experience and trust behind the words of Allura Vysorin.
Keyleth then puts forward Bell's Hells to infiltrate the hallowed cage, and Orym addresses the crowd.
Time is short. We've traveled the sands of Ruidus before. And worked with many of its peoples. We mustn't delay. And it would be Bell's Hell's honor to serve this chamber.
A lot of voices cry out, basically asking, who the hell are these guys? And also expressing some concern that given some of Bell's Hills are Ruidusborn, they could actually be spies for the Vanguard. But in response, Braius steps forward.
How fitting that we stand in the Platinum Sanctuary. The holiest of places that I've devoted my life to. It is the tenets of the Platinum Dragon include standing as a paragon of honor and justice, fighting for the righteous, stepping up for the weak. These are the ideals that Bell's Hells wears proudly on our breast. Get up, Regal! I have traveled and known these fellows for many months. And in that time, I have realized that it's not just our hatred of lewdness that binds us together, but it's our individual strengths that sets us apart. We have among us the power of a titan. We have the knowledge of the Ruidusborn. We have ones who are dedicated to family. We have one who has command over the dead itself. And we have a guy who makes chairs.
Braius also calls out that they have been blessed by the prime deities, and Oren pulls out his newly exalted sword, Seedling, whose golden eyes send a glow over the entire room. Braius only rolls a 16 persuasion check following this speech, however, and Highbearer Vord presses him, asking which sainthood of the Platinum Dragon he follows. Braius says that he follows Saint Graham, a follower who strayed from the Platinum Dragon's path but realized he had been mistaken at the end of his life and then worked to rectify his misdeeds. Braius swears to carry the Platinum Sanctuary's tenets going forward, but Highbearer Vord remains skeptical as Imogen hears in their mind that they intend to follow up with Braius later. Hierophant Ophira addresses Lordna, somewhat disturbed by her necromantic nature.
Death is still very much a part of life. And while some may balk at the necromantic arts, they are still a part of the greater magics blessed to us by the gods of Exandria, by the Archheart, and furthermore, stewarded from the Matron of Ravens. When fighting such darkness, we have found it is often beneficial to have just a little bit of darkness on your side.
She rolls a natural 20 on her persuasion check, and the three cloaked figures of the Matron of Ravens, known as the Coven of the Veil, step up and agree with her. Highbearer Vord then turns their attention to Ashton and Fern, asking for more information about their Titan powers, since the Titans historically were enemies of the gods. Ashton steps forward.
Psychically, you hear, I am so sorry.
No, Ashton, do not fuck us, do not fuck us.
I'll step forward too.
Okay. Let's go, Suicide Squad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What? They would be talking about me. And honestly, I think this is a very, very bad time to decide who ancient enemies are right now. Everyone is threatened. Yes, and I'm sorry that I am not serving any god present here right now. And the fact that that is even a problem, that is even a question right now, I find a little offensive. We are all here. I serve the weak. I serve the forgotten. I serve the dirt beneath our feet. And if you tell me that that's not enough for you, fine, I will fight on my own. Because honestly, the alternative sounds really fucking awful. psychically. All right. Fuck.
That was great. That was actually really. That was probably the best you've ever.
That was really good.
Fern backs Ashton up, and the two activate their Titan abilities to demonstrate them for the crowd. And finally, the Mage of the Stratos throne asks what the chairmaker and the well-dressed lad have to offer. Dorian says that he doesn't know what he has to offer, but he knows that as a group, they have strength and power, a collective power. But Flamekeeper Serkonis calls out that Dorian is deflecting, pressing him to truly answer what he has to offer. Dorian begins humming a half-forgotten tune that his mother used to sing to him, which is actually a spell. Find greater speed.
He remembers the stories his mother used to tell him about this legendary mount from their family. And he remembers finally the song that she used to sing to him that haunted his dreams at the beginning of this journey. And as he does, Coriolis, the great equine dragon, flies down and sits at his side. It sort of nestles its head into his chest. And he's as surprised as anyone. We may not look like much, but we have power. And we are capable. And so am I. And my heart desires to make a difference.
Chetney is the last to offer his bio to the crowd.
You ask what I bring. Faux hundo. I am not a holy person. I don't share many of your beliefs, but I have walked Exandria for centuries. I remember Zan Taldore. I remember Everon the Rhyme Lord. I have seen the horrors that befall this land and how people are strong enough to rise up and rebuild. But what lewdness is entertaining is unleashing a horror that predates any of that, any of us. And there's no telling where it could stop. The Pantheon, perhaps, but it could absolutely wipe the slate clean, and I will not let that stand as long as I draw a tiny, sexy breath.
Keyleth then steps forward, bestowing upon Bellshells some snazzy new titles: Lady Fern Calloway, Fae Scion of the Ancient Flame; Lordna, Veil Mistress of the Shadow Tree; Ashton the Reforged, Hammer of Paradox; Chetney Pocopi, High Hunter and Lupine Paragon; Dorian Storm, Master Muse and Son of the Wind; Imogen Temelt, Exultant Hope of the Red Storm; Orim of the Air Ashari, Saviour Blade of the Tempest; and Braius Doomseed, Nascent Might of the Platinum's Call. With this final endorsement, the forum agrees to the plan, and the High Bearer says that plans will be made over the next week. As the crowd disperses, Dorian finds himself face to face with the man that Orim saw earlier, his father, Zeru Wyvernwind. He expresses surprise at Dorian, or Bronte, as is his given name, being here, and the two exchange some kind of stilted small talk before speaking of Cyrus's death. It's a fairly awkward conversation, with the two seeming to hold back their true feelings until Zeru hugs Dorian, who breaks down and begins crying. As Dorian pulls away, Zeru encourages him to return home, but this makes Dorian angry, asking if his father believes in him.
Yes, I and your mother are gifted, burdened, living with the responsibilities of guiding our people. But underneath that all, we are a father and a mother, and we don't want to lose another son.
Zeru asks him to promise that he will come home, and Dorian does so. As the two say goodbye, Zeru gives him the family sword, Gamble Cleft the Vortex Blade. This sword is the symbol of leadership for the Silken Squall and contains within it an ancient wind spirit. In exchange, Dorian gives him his own sword.
Here, a drunk old man who died while pissing gave this to me.
As Zeru leaves, he looks back at Dorian, and Dorian sees the look that he has been yearning for from his father: pride. Orim finds Zeru later and introduces himself, offering condolences for the loss of Cyrus. He tells Zeru of Dorian's bravery and how he saved his life. Zeru wishes them good luck and says that he would like to get to know the group better.
As I leave, I can't help but think, dang, apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Meanwhile, Chetney is approached by a scale bearer of the Platinum Sanctuary, a blonde-haired gnome called Weyland, who asks if he is of C-Pop Industries, saying that he's been collecting Chetney's woodworking pieces for years and he is a huge fan. Weyland is very flustered and excited to meet Chetney, who puts on quite the show of being a woodworking celebrity. Weyland asks Chetney if he wants to come visit his home to see the display that he's collected, and Chetney says, I don't know, well, I suppose I can make time, saying that his assistant, Imogen, will be in touch to arrange a time. Weyland says he is just one of the Sea Poppers, a collection of Chetney's fans, and I don't know, was I the only one feeling a little called out here? Chetney gives Weyland a wooden coin that he carved, telling him it's from a limited run. As this conversation continues, Highbearer Vord approaches Braius, saying that he is still not sure about him, and Braius confesses that he did lie to the Highbearer. He said he was once a faithful acolyte of the Platinum Dragon, but he strayed from the path by bringing shame to his post. He shows the Highbearer a broken amulet of the Platinum Dragon, saying that the overseer Marlowe broke this amulet and banished him from the temple. However, Braius actually reached into his pocket and snapped it in half right before this conversation. The Highbearer doesn't seem convinced, but Pike steps up and says that everyone should be given a chance of redemption. With a successful persuasion check assisted by Pike's intervention, the Highbearer concurs that Braius may find redemption and bestows upon him a new set of armor.
The light catches a beautiful, intricate set of silvered platinum plate mail. This is Truthbearer.
Oh, shit.
Wow, you're getting called out.
The fabled plate of Uthor Vendrock. The silvered star, one of the kindest and most noble warriors of the Platinum Dragon.
Fern points out that Braius might end up like his favorite saint, Graham, and Braius says, you know, maybe this is a sign, but rolling a nat 20 on a persuasion or deception check, no one can tell if he's being sincere. Keyleth checks in with Imogen, who shares with her the information about Ludinus having a meeting with the Sorrow Lord. She confides in Keyleth that she would like to get her mother out if she can, but reassures her that she wouldn't put their plans or any of their allies at risk to do so. Keyleth asks if Imogen trusts Liliana, who says that she does, but she's worried about what will happen to both of them the closer that they get to the hallowed cage, since the pull of Predathos is so strong and hard to resist. Keyleth says she sees a lot of her younger self in Imogen.
If I'm anything like you, it would be a great compliment.
We're all just doing our best.
Keyleth says she will look into someone to investigate the meeting with the Sorry Lord. She then turns and leaps off of the side of the temple, this time electing to turn into a hawk and not a goldfish. Chetney then approaches the Bright Queen, asking if she can bestow any boons or help upon them to improve their chances on the mission, specifically asking for her staff. She kneels down, saying it would be an honor to gift this ancient artifact of the Kryn dynasty, but as Chetney goes to take it...
Thank you, my lady.
She pulls it back. Of course not.
Oh,
She thanks him for giving her a laugh and makes a proposal to Chetney. She asks him to share information about Ashton once their mission is completed, and specifically if there is any way Ashton could be controlled. She promises a hefty reward, and Chetney says that he will consider it. He doesn't share this interaction with Ashton, who says he was considering apologizing to the Bright Queen, and Chetney encourages them to do so. So Ashton approaches the Bright Queen, saying that he's willing to learn more about the Dunamancy power in their head, and that they are willing to learn from her and tell her about their experiences. He asks for advice, and she says,
I do not know what you hold inside either, but there are signatures of power that are familiar and intriguing. In this case, I cannot assure you that what you can muster can be controlled. But with care and practice and time, perhaps you too could break the very fundamental powers of this universe. If they don't break you first. So find that light, hold on to it, and imagine.
That I can do.
Ashton then asks about her worship, and she says that she worships something older and grander than the gods and encourages him to explore the light within himself. They catch up with Weyland again and decide to head to his place to see his C-Pop Industries collection. Inside, the house is filled with shelves and shelves of knickknacks, and there are chairs and tables everywhere. Basically, it's like a full museum. He shares with the group the first Poco P creation he found, a small wooden egg.
That's from my Oblivion Edition. If you twist it a certain way, it reveals that which is most precious.
Yeah.
He twists open the egg and inside is a small pearl. He asks Chetney to tell him about the inspiration behind a lot of the pieces and he begins to take notes. Chetney says he wants to stay the night and Weyland conveniently has enough of Chetney's beds to fit everyone in the guest quarters. Weyland then asks Chetney if he would appear at PopCon, which is scheduled to happen in around 6 or 7 weeks. That is, if the world survives until then.
Weyland, PopCon will survive, as will we!
You're gonna roll a D100 in the next
Not
20
only
minutes.
will I be there, so will they!
If I had $1 for every time the players organized a con in their campaigns, well, I'd only have $2, but it's weird that it happened twice. If you've enjoyed this recap, please make sure you give it a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. I can't wait to see what happens next, especially if they go back to the Feywild. Like, I love the Feywild. It's my favorite D&D location, so I'm very excited. I'd love to hear all your theories and predictions for the next episode in the comments, and until next time, bye!